Hi, I'm Eric Lee with Starfish Coaching. In this episode of my business tip series, I'd like to answer a common question with small business owners, and that is, when is the right time to hire an employee? Small businesses typically start up with the business owner being the only staff of the company. So they end up wearing all the hats and doing everything from sales to production to admin to finance and, even in some cases, janitorial duties. The startup business owner will endure this for a while because they do not yet have steady work coming in, so they really can't afford to take on staff yet. If everything goes well and they do their job well, they will attract more and more clients. And there comes a point where they have to consider taking on staff so that they can start relieving themselves from wearing all of the hats. But the question is, when is that time and how do you know? Well, here are 3 symptoms for you to look for. 1, you are doing everything in the business. This is a sign that you're handling too many tasks and some of them should be passed off. As your time becomes more scarce, you have to learn how to select only the high value tasks to do yourself. Things like admin or definitely janitorial duties should not be done by yourself, the business owner, because those duties you can typically hire out for a low hourly cost. In the beginning, it may seem hard because when you don't have any sales, any expense seems to be risky. But many business owners will forget that they shouldn't be doing these low-level tasks even after they start booking some steady sales. 2, when you are working 12 to 15-hour days. When you're working this many hours, it's a sign that you need to hire to free up some of your time. Also, doing 12 to 15 hours a day for short term because you're in a bind is okay, but it should not become a normal thing. Otherwise, this will very quickly lead to burnout and breakdown in your mental wellness. 3, when your production can't keep up with the sales demand. So if your production output is not meeting your desired delivery times, then it means you need more resources for your production. For instance, if you're striving to deliver your product in typically 1 week, but now it's taking more like 2 or 3 weeks to deliver, then you will likely need to hire more production staff to bring it back to that desired output time. So those are some common symptoms which will give you a hint as to when to hire. And if you are thinking about hiring, then we can dive a little bit into that because there are some different arrangements. The most traditional way of hiring extra help is to pay a set salary for an employee. But if you don't yet have enough work for a full-time employee, then it may not be the right structure. So with that, what you can consider is these are the 3 alternatives. The first one is looking at hiring hourly employees where it's not a set monthly salary. Or you can consider a contractor who works hourly or even by the job. And lastly, you can consider virtual employees who work remote. These types of work arrangements typically end up costing more by the hour, but it allows you to get help without having to commit to a full-time staff, which is a total monthly amount, which you may not yet have the cash for in your company. Now, as a prudent business owner, it's best to look at the financials before you make any decision. So if you have enough work for a full-time person, but not sure if your finances can afford it, then I recommend to do a financial projection of both your anticipated sales revenue and your expenses. If you have these 2 sets of numbers, it can tell you how much profit you're expected to make, and that will give you an idea if you can afford to hire the additional staff yet or not. If you're not familiar with what a financial projection is or want to learn how to do it, then make sure you are subscribed to my channel because I will be making a separate video to focus specifically on this and show you how it's done. As a business owner, it's important to always be looking at your financial numbers. This is how you can see if you are profitable or not. I know many owners do not like to do this and subconsciously or consciously resist looking at the numbers because they would rather stay in a constant state of denial. But just know that refusing to look at the numbers does not mean the problem will go away. It's like that saying, if a tree falls in the forest, does anybody hear? Well, yeah, it still makes a sound just because you're not there. So for businesses, if your business is already failing, regardless if you look at the numbers or not, it's still going to fail. So as a prudent business owner, it's better to look at the number earlier so that you have more time to save the business if it indeed is not going in a favorable direction. So I hope this episode has helped you and motivate you to look at your business numbers more often. Perhaps it may have even been a wake-up call. If all that I've said is over your head, but you still see the importance of looking at your financials, then reach out to me and let's see how I can help. I'm Eric Lee, and I can turbocharge your success.